So now that I got this to work, I think I only need to add the MouseListener. I fiddled around a bit with the windows in the meantime, with the user interface and the draw canvas and the different sizes of the JFrame. But yeah, I was drawing my bot a bit larger, and then of course it's off the screen. But to asking ChatGPT how to make it adapt the canvas to the size of my. Normally, I understand that JFrame can adapt its size automatically, or automatically you can tell it to adapt its size to the canvas. But then the canvas needs to be bigger, and to adapt the size of the canvas to the content I want to render, I need to effectively calculate the size of my of all my grids. So then I need to use the I probably use the transform XY method for that. Yeah, I can use that method for that to give to get the yeah to get the screen size I need. Well, that will be something for later, but at least I know that's possible. Of course, it would be possible, but right. But I got it after breaking everything and reshuffling it. It works, but now I need. Let's try to get back what I had, and that is that the board is rendered and that the tiles are highlighted when I mouse over. So the first thing I then need is the mouse listener, and I made that in a separate class, the mouse input handler, which extends MouseAdapter. That seems fine. And then I have to decide where I am going to add that. Oh, there's all kinds of nice thingies in there. Beautiful things. Nice spaghetti. And that was all for my tile select stuff, yeah. So first off, let's look at my schedules and see where this one needs to come in. Let's ask ChatGPT for some global advice. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say for general advice on that. Mouse input handlers can be used on any component that extends Java out a component, including if you want to twist in mouse events that happen anywhere within your JFrame, including non-client areas like the title bar. Yeah, the way I see it now, my draw canvas is basically everything that I render, and then the frame is just like the operating system container. And if I need other windows and stuff, they will probably be added. No, I'm probably saying nonsense. That all depends on all the different components I want to use and how and where I want to use them. Okay, here in the end it says something interesting. Remember, mouse events are delivered to the component under the mouse cursor. If the mouse cursor is over a G button, that is inside a G panel, that is inside a G frame, and all three components have mouse listeners, only the G buttons mouse listener will receive the mouse event. To receive the event in the G panel or G frame, you need to use a mouse motion listener and implement its mouse moved method. So anyway, for now, it seems most logical to add that to the, oh, okay, but that's something, yeah, I wouldn't add inside the draw canvas. In fact, oh yeah, that is the same logic that I slowly start to understand. That's JPanel, new JPanel. Where's the panel? Draw canvas add. The scroll panel is added to that. Probably want to add that after that. No, before that. So that will probably be draw canvas is my panel. Oh, that's just a standard add mouse listener. Add mouse listener. Yeah, I think if I add it here in user interface, which would be seems logical, and I just take in some stuff from the draw canvas here, but I already have an instance here of draw canvas, then I would logically want an instance mouse new but I add mouse listener, like it says here, new mouse adapter. That's the standard class, I guess. Let me see. Yeah, that's called mouse adapter. But I want a new mouse input handler. So that would be logical to pass an instance of the mouse input handler here, and then I can either create a new one. I probably create a new one here. Mouse input handler, mouse input handler. Oh, that's here with the point. That has to be with him. So that will be kind of similar to what I had. Point. Oh, I know that's nothing to do with that. Sorry, that is the has to do with the label for the coordinates. Not bothered with that for now. So I will have a private. Let's not type. It's a pretty long name, my mouse input handler. I can also just call it mouse input or something. No, I can always rename it. And then probably instead of creating an instance of that in the main or something, I will probably, when the words are a bit longer, I'm getting really lazy. Up is new mouse input handler, I guess. I think I'll just make a new, oh wait, no, I don't need it to pass it as an argument then, do I? It's not used, yeah, that's when I understand. And then add MouseListener, mouse input handler, like so. I suppose. Why is it doing weird stuff? Mouse clicked at position. Okay, yeah, I wanted to have more of those. Okay, but no, that's in the input handler, of course. Click point, mouse clicked, event, did click point. Can I just post some? Oh, I thought I copied this one. I wanted more of those console lines, so I hope I can just put it here if this is the right place. So now I added normally a mouse input listener to the draw canvas. And like I said, I don't think I need to create a specific instance as far as I understand. And if I need an instance, it's maybe okay. Yeah. Is there something to be said to create it in main and pass it on? Then I would create a new instance of mouse input handler. Don't think that is very interesting to have a specific instance of the mouse input handler. Not sure at all, of course, but oh yeah, it's still broken here. So, but now I have an instance of mouse input handler here, but then shouldn't I just have access? Oh yeah, this is click point and cursor point. Yeah, that seems to work. Copy, point, cursor point, copy, okay. And with this whole model view control design pattern, I should be I shouldn't need this in too many places anymore. Add click point, update label. Okay, so now I'm wondering if this some kind of method like that wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be if it wouldn't be more logical in the mouse handler class, but don't think so because it's for the label. Then I need to have access to the label in the other one, etc. And where did I hide the? I had something else for that. Did I throw them away? I had something with the coordinate string, I think, a coordinate selector. Did I either hide them somewhere or did I delete them? I do have a little update label in here. I have a slight suspicion that I threw them away. Last click was the cursor is at. Yeah, that was something that I had that up there. That was not what I was using. Yeah, I was saying, wouldn't it be logical to have this method, etc., in the mouse input handler? And I was like, no, but then I need access to the label in the other one. But no, that's not true. Because I have access to the instance of the mouse input handler, I can just call that method recall that method in here. I don't have to do that outside of there. I need that one in here. Then I can take all the references to the instance, take that out again. like so, except this label set text thingy. That is for the that is in the user interface. The label set text, that goes with the label here, and then text will use, not sure how this is going to work. By the way, the last click point, as far as I know, never worked, or I didn't test it. Reset label, also this also goes to the other one, of course. Like that. Label set text goes away. I use the set text with update label. This will just return text. Update label. I think that can just be a string then. No? It was a void, but I can just make it a string and return the text, no? And then a user interface takes mouse input. Oh, I'm tired of it. Mouse event, whatever. Something short. Copy. Something like that. Set text, punt, update label. Like so. Add MouseListener, mouse event. Up. Okay, so the label is back, but I'm outside of the area for some reason. And when I click, it gives all kinds of errors. Game loop cannot be resolved, board cannot be resolved. Oh, that's just because my whole mouse input handler class is broken, I guess. So no problem at all. How do I best go about this? How do I best go about this? I don't want to go into the select tile right away. I want just to have a little thingy that highlights a tile, and I don't want all this stuff. Can I just take all that stuff out for now because it's too much of a big huge mess? Tile clicked, no, also go away. I could just enclose it with a whole lot of stuff, but repaint. Something is wrong with my brackets. I'm missing one, I guess. Mouse event, that's that one. Okay, I didn't tag that one out. Okay, same for here. Everything that is in red goes away if highlighted. That other one was the click point. Okay, the highlighted stuff was here. That's just highlighting all kinds of stuff. So I can attack that one. So I think the first step for this is to reuse the shape functionality of shape to somewhere check for if the shape contains the mouse cursor. I already tell it to render, to highlight it, to render it like that, render it highlighted when this highlight is set to true. But where do I check for shape contains? That's not here in render. That would be in user interface which has access to board or game shape. The game shape has access to the shapes. Render has access to the game shapes. Draw canvas has access to the render. Yeah, render board. The render thingy has access to the board and the shapes, but that's not a place to put in a mouse listener, seems to me. Where I want a mouse listener is where we view, model view controller, where we view the shapes on the screen, and I can mouse over them. And that logically would be in the draw canvas. And then again, the draw canvas doesn't, yeah, I do add a mouse listener to the draw canvas, but inside the user interface. User interface doesn't have access to anything for now. I'm thinking that renderboard constructs the whole visual representation of the world, so it has the information on the shapes, etc. And draw canvas has access to that, to all that. So I don't want to implement a mouse listener in the renderboard. That's weird. I have one in the draw canvas. So what if I create a method in here? I'm not sure now. Gotcha tile, corridor tile. Yeah, it does it. Yeah, it has those objects. What do I want to return? I want to check for the shapes. if it contains the mouse thingy. As usual, this is completely wrecking my brain. I'm back into the board class and that findTileAtPoint thingy, because actually what I want to do is find a tile. Like I said before, I think the highlight and the select tile is basically the same functionality. It's just through a shape, it's finding the tile. I can use the shape to do that contains point thingy. So if, like here in my board, I have this findTileAtPoint that takes a point, an argument of point, I might, yes, because it is highlighted, is a Boolean on the tiles. I was thinking I must use a shape. No, the shape is just an intermediary. So I need to fix this method. Check if the point is within the shape of the culture tile. Do I still need a culture tile thingy there? Tile culture tile. I don't need that stuff. No, I don't need to redefine culture tile here. I can just use what I used before that. Culture or corridor, I think. This does the iteration through the loop. If it not is null, then I do need to exit this. No, wait, I assign random stuff here, and here I'm gonna look through the grid, so I do need the grid. If it not is null, okay, maybe I do need it. Get culture tile is the thing. Let me see, grid hexagon, where are you? Yeah, that needs to return a culture or corridor tile so that I can return the shape. I use that same stuff in renderboard, so get culture. Yeah, and I use exactly the same stuff, but to draw them. I was thinking I could do this in renderboard, but no, I do stuff there to draw, not to find tiles. Same thing as I used there. That shouldn't be too complicated. And then how do I get them there? Culture tile, category shape is game shape, culture shape. Oh wait, yeah. Of course, the tile doesn't know its shape anymore. Okay, so that doesn't work. That's funny. Here now it's really separated. I construct a board with all its elements, its containers, its things, but effectively, this makes it maybe even simpler to understand. Now the culture tile doesn't have knowledge of its own shape. In fact, here in the render thingies, this one has access to the shapes, and I call them manually. In fact, just call the culture shape and the corridor shape. So this isn't at all accessible anymore in the board, which is actually pretty funny. So that forces me to think further down the line. So they exist in the render board for the first time, and that I don't want to do anything like that in the render board. Finding tiles, finding shapes though, no, but that would be logical in the draw canvas because I have render board there. So yeah, then the method goes to there. Copy. Let's see how this will work out. For lucky I made those static final. Then render board. It has access to this cute little thing here. Render board point. Let me just see what it has access to. This is create of an IDE. That doesn't help me very much. Renderboard has access to the board, but does that mean? Oh wait, I have a tile here. Tile, culture tile, get the image. Is there any way I associate these things? This is pretty interesting. Or should I just put it in here? I'm talking about I don't want to add a mouse listener, but I don't have to add a mouse listener. I'm just adding. It can just take an argument of point that method. That would be way more simple, huh? I see that might work. I'm not too convinced about the logic of that. But I could use it to find tiles. What is wrong with my whole layout here? That looks like shit. Why is it all broken and ugly. Board width. Do I need to call it like that here? Yeah, I do. What happened? Why is it so ugly? If board, sometimes it's so weird. Why doesn't it take that? Anyway, if board bloody blah, not this null, board and grid get that stuff, board board point that culture tile. Yeah, I'm reading bugging now. Now I have the tiles have no knowledge of their shape, so I'm wondering if I can associate them. But seeing that I go through the array, it finds a tile and the shape that I'm mousing over. They both need to, in fact, in this method, I tell them they are together, because I mustn't forget that the graphical representation of the shape is just that. It's not, I was thinking, yeah, but now the shapes don't have double WH arguments, etc. So I can never associate them, but maybe this works. Do I just have to call the shape any shape without, oh, and not corridor shape, but culture shape? Can I just call any shape? Why doesn't it have access to that? Everything is wrong in this. Why did it break when I copied it? That's a bit weird. I totally have access to this. If corridor tile not is null, corridor tile shape contains point, yes, like that. Why is it broken? Oh, oh no, it's always something stupid. So, because I iterate through the loop, so this is for one position, yeah, this is for one position, then it's that culture tile, that should be null, that's only do, and it contains my mouse at that moment in that game shape, then I return that tile. Oh, that's very implicit, all of that. See, something does something. It does return my clicked position now, and it doesn't give big errors. That's a good sign. Doesn't error when I go out of the screen, so that means I have less errors. Where does that come from, by the way? Mouse input handler. Mouse clicked at position. Okay, so that works. Update click point. So at the end might be nice place. For me, it's not logical to do it in the render, but not, yeah, because this has access to the shapes and the board doesn't have access to the shapes anymore. Oh, poor board, you don't have access to the shapes anymore. That's sad. Which is good, makes it separate from my object logic here in board, and then I add the shapes to it in render. I join the two and create it. And I'm still not sure if that's the best way to make the findTile thingy, but because I have access to those things. Okay, this now I draw the board. This sounds like mouse input handler, right? I have the mouse input handler on the draw canvas. So what if I now add the findTileAtPoint method, which is here, which I have in one. That's in the mouse moved event. Doesn't have access to render or anything. Draw canvas has access to render. You must see it like a window and I draw things on there. It's logical that it tells here to highlight tiles. So I call a method on render board that's called drawTile. And I can as well, the highlight tile would be logical as well in the render. The simple act of highlighting, oh, it's of course it's here. It's there already. So yeah, that's very logical. Of course that's there. I just need a way now to set the tile to highlight it when the mouse is over there. Render board point tile at point. Cannot use it like that, of course. No, logically, yeah. Just asking ChatGPT if it's common to add the MouseListener maybe to the draw canvas instead of adding it here in the user interface. It would be logical to initialize install MouseAdapter but in the class that extends. Then yeah, because then the user interface, like I said somewhere before, really stays more like an yeah, like a layout thingy. That means I can just throw away Oh no, I'm using it there as well, it's no problem. Mouse new listener, blah 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 blah. If you need to handle other mouse events, you can override other methods, yeah. Yeah, and I think you can very easily override somewhere it says it's better to make a new point, etc. Sometimes more easy. Reset it a lot. It's a very mobile class. So yeah, do I make it a dependency? I guess not. I think like what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's very important for the mouse event thingy to be instantiated only once, for example, that kind of thing. I don't think that is very important with the mouse input handler. So copy, this will have its own mouse event up, and that's it. That's the whole extent of it. And then I can do mouse event print like so. And then I need to tell it that when it finds it, it needs to set the Boolean to highlighted. That's all a whole other bucket of worms, or whatever the expression is. By the way, is this the right thing? Point, cursor point. Click point is point. Click point is get point. Point is no, point. Oh, I'm not sure how to use that. But this is cursor point. I'm not even sure if the point isn't supposed to be a local private thing. Oh yeah, and now I'm wondering, do I need to getters and setters or getters specifically for that, or isn't that, like I'm trying to say, is that not so important? Yeah, no, I don't need those. I can just reference those. Probably point is public as well. Don't care. Yeah, I do care, but that's probably okay. Okay, draw canvas, stop adding the mouse input listener. Not sure if it's gonna conflict now that I have both. I call another instance of mouse input and it's a bit over. Even if it's not conflicting, I can use the canvas one, I guess. Mouse event update label. I just moved that stuff to the other side, to the draw canvas. Not sure. No, yeah, no, not sure. Wait. Not the add label, of course, but the update label. Okay, is that logical to have the update label here? We'll see. So what was I doing? See if everything still go. No, I get errors now. What did I break? That's my new 98. Okay, no, this wasn't the problem, because until I put in this, it didn't work. I'm suddenly thinking that the most logical way to set this highlighted is right here, where I check whether my point is in there and whether it's a tile. Give me my culture tile. Culture tile is highlighted. I don't remember how to set it. How do I set a Boolean to true again? ChatGPT, the most silly question. You have a Boolean, then you can simply set it to true or false as follows. My Boolean is true. Is true. Like so. It's a class and you want to set its value from outside the class, you have got a setter method to do this. Oh yeah, of course, I have a setter method. Oh, it's so simple. My god. Set is highlighted. I class private boolean my boolean, public void set my boolean value. Why? Okay, so not only do I tell it wrong, it is set is highlighted. True. Why do I have a point in there? That's so weird. That wasn't for originally that wasn't for what I'm using it for, apparently. Boolean. No, it doesn't. Where's the Boolean? Is I that I used two capitals. Public. Ah, that's a void. Okay, is highlighted is. How does it work? Boolean value is highlighted value Boolean value highlighted is value. Oh, okay, okay. Oh my god. So must be so obvious for some people. It's so true. Okay, I said it right. So when it is like that, we set the is highlighted to true. Culture, but do I? Then the question is, does it stay true? Does it stay highlighted, or do I no? Because if it isn't in the right place in the array, or should I tell it here else false? Not sure. Corridor tile. This isn't culture tile. Or should I tell it, yeah, that if else, etc. Okay. And this whole crappy in here, repaint is a thing. Why did they take out repaint? It's weird. What was it for? Oh, those were for the canvas. Those came out of the canvas because I had all these mouse events in the canvas. That's why. Okay. Interesting. So I want this whole stuff to go away with all its errors. I'm approaching it step by step. Let's run something. Doesn't highlight anything. Still says that click or move the cursor within the framed area. So something is wrong with that method at least. Something is very wrong with the cursor point. Oh, I didn't switch that on at all. So let's do a repaint here. That is something that is for the thingy here, and let's switch this back on. Proceed. Errors. Underboard. No 99. No pointer exception. If not is null, I need the other ones as well. Should I just put this inside of this array? Of this loopy thingy instead of making it double, because if board grid that is null, if not is null, otherwise I'm doing it double. It isn't, like I said, it doesn't feel like my render stuff. I even do the same. I get the culture tile, dark tile, blah blah blah, but I do it again. That's all I have just another if method, the culture one. Now, I do tell it to highlight it here, so get image up, then it can I don't want to return a culture tile at all. I don't need that. Oh yeah, I don't need that. I can just, okay, that was for the getting the right tile. Yeah, it does feel weird too. And this if block goes here. It doesn't need to return the corridor tile because it's already there. I can just ask the render board for the specific corridor tile. Why does it have a point? Oh, point, but it has a no value point. Point has no value. So there it breaks up. There it breaks. Oh yeah, and I use a method in draw canvas that takes a point argument, of course. So a simple way of doing it was just giving a board instance to the draw canvas as well. It already has the shapes from there's render board. Oh, it has render board. No, I don't have access to the shapes then. Okay. This was so, but I do need, if this not is null, it can be that the point is the problem. Copy V, do that, and then, oh, and there's the transform. Aha, do I need the transform? That's a good question as well. If this not is null, copy up, need one extra bracket then. That's a question. Do I need? So apparently my I get no but exceptions, etc. But it doesn't seem to be elsewhere in my code. I think my mouse input handler is just one giant heap of mess, a giant mess. So I asked ChatGPT if it could, because I asked it about the no pointer exception I'm getting, and it's getting at, yeah, maybe your tiles are 0, check for zero value, null values, etc. But that's okay. But my mouse input handler is just a huge mess, and I'm doing all kinds of double things. I created my own methods here at some point with update cursor location, update click point. I have no idea where that is for, in fact. Even here, like I have a point, and I have a click point. I have no idea. Those are standard mouse adapter thingies, as far as I know. Yeah, point is a point. So I probably need them in my little methods here. No idea what I'm doing in this class. After it's probably just some very immatristic heap of stuff that now because that I now don't understand because it's such a mess. So I asked ChatGPT. I posted it and asked it if it could help give me some tips. It gave me a nice tidy thingy, so I'm gonna try to see what I can and cannot use from that. Maybe just replace my whole thing with it. By the way, before I asked if it was common to use getters for the different mouse events, but maybe it understood me. I said no, it was normally because you also have always have access to them. But now it's telling me to get getters, but that's for my locally defined fields here, variables. I probably don't even need those at all. It's probably also all tryouts where I really didn't understand anything about this because it doesn't really work like traditional classes. This mouse stuff works a bit differently as far as I understand. Oh yeah, I see that there being all kinds of things I'm doing in double. He's talking somewhere, and I gave him a nice explanation of 8 points what I can improve. That's very nice. But it says something about a handler class. Effectively, it's just overriding the standard methods instead of what I'm doing, all kinds of stuff in those, and then it creates a helper method. It was talking about that. So it really simplifies it and it takes out the other things. Update cursor location as well. I'll see. Okay, so all that stuff that I had in mouse clicked, that goes to handle mouse event. But because it's just a collection of old stuff, I have no idea what it is doing or especially what it's supposed to do. Sometimes I do, but this is obscure stuff that I mostly copied from elsewhere and then fiddled around with until it did something or didn't do something. Duplicate method. Oh, okay. Already had a get click point. Go away. Get cursor point, and I probably have that, but it told me not to make new things. It's just return cursor point, that's all. Not create a new point. Can get no pointer exceptions, probably. And where's set click point? Maybe I should just copy it. Not sure if I already had one of those. Didn't point pay. Click point is pay. Okay, it said something about the last one. Update click point. That wasn't what it should be called. He said it's just set that. Then this is just handle mouse event E. Copy, and all the rest goes away. Mouse moved the same, just handle mouse event. Don't do all those crazy things. Really been doing DIY here. Mouse exit reset label, public void reset label, it does call that. And update cursor location. That will set click point. Just change that. Cursor location, no idea. I have no idea what that's all for. I feel almost ashamed. Left in some brackets. That's not visible because I made it invisible. Get cursor point. Now it's visible. So this is a while later. In the meantime, I continued a bit with fiddling with the panel and the MouseListener, etc. Me, who was in the idea, but now I just have to add a MouseListener and everything will be all right. But yeah, I found out that how the whole thing works with the components, the frames, the panels, etc. The Java Swing components for the layout, etc., and adding mouse listeners to that. that's another thing entirely. I had something that worked, but not thanks to my knowledge of things. It was just that was more luck. I took some things when I started creating my code years ago, and that still kind of worked. But since it doesn't work, and I was fighting with that label, what I really don't need, but it's like a test of. It's more like a test to see if I get it right. I do have the mouse listener on the canvas somehow, because it does do a little thingy where it prints to the console. If you can see it here, where it prints the current position, and when I click also, that is in the mouse input handler, this little line here, print mouse event at position, and that is just continuously gets the X and the Y position. I did add the mouse listener correctly to the draw canvas, but then the J label doesn't work. And in the meantime, I did some interrogating with ChatGPT, trying to find out about those labels, mouse listener, or labels about those components and mouse listener, etc. And I must say that when going back and forth with ChatGPT, oftentimes, or at least sometimes, it's more confusing than anything else, because it is just capable of giving you endless code to make things work, but it doesn't take in account, like I said in my video where I talk about the limits with doing this with ChatGPT, it doesn't really take in account best practice. At a certain point, it wanted to pass instances of things to the mouse input handler, but that kind of goes, I think, against what I'm trying to do, where I rather add the mouse listener to the components, not the other way around. And then it gives the next problem that every time I call the mouse handler, if I pass it instances of other things, every time I call it, I have to give those parameters to it. And then I say, isn't it more logical to do this or that? Oh yeah, completely, that's right, etc. At a certain point, I was fighting with that label and all kinds of complicated things, then passing it around in the draw canvas and etc. etc. Then I said, wouldn't it be more logical to add the whole label stuff to the draw canvas instead of the grid hexagon, because it was all kinds of passing around. Yes, absolutely, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, when I don't keep the overview myself of what I want and how I want to do it, ChatGPT will just endlessly give me answers that might work for the very, how do you say it, select thing that I try to work out, but won't work in the overarching, won't work when I try to do other things again. So there it just goes around and around. And like I said, when I do a lot of these back and forths with it, it's often more confusing for me than anything else, because it I could also say it's so good at coding that for it's no problem to understand it. But then I would, when I would give it a more complex collection of classes that have to do things together, etc., then it would probably lose its effectivity. But where it's really where it does really stand out is giving the general information. Like when I ask it about why am I always scrolling like that? That when it gives overviews of like common practice of principles, etc. There it really can help. But I need to take care that I don't lose myself. I try to formulate my questions the way what's common, what's the most easy way, etc. And sometimes it's very useful, but a lot of time with the code, it just gives a way that works, but which doesn't work for me, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Having said all that, I was even wondering if I shouldn't rejoin all the things that I had in user interface, like the draw canvas and the mouse input listener. I now see why it would be much more easy, because now I'm struggling with what instance I have to pass to what thing, etc. And like I said, a lot of passing around when I don't do things in the right order, because it's very hard for me to get it straight in my head. What objects should be passed to what? But yeah, then draw canvas already was its own class, but it was just, I think it's called inline in the user interface. So that's, I don't want to do that. I was thinking, because MouseListener, but one of my first questions now is, I think it already told me, but every component, well, not necessarily the G frame, but normally I think it has, but like the JPanel, but also a button, and all the components you use from that. I think it's the Java Swing library with all those. When you have buttons, windows, not the canvas that can be used to draw on. I think the best way, if there are different classes, especially because when you put them in one class or they make inline classes, they can have easy access to that mouse listener. But when you separate them like I did, I think it even said that when you create like a button, you need to tell the computer or your code that that it needs the mouse listener on that specific item. So I'm having trouble getting that label to work, which I said I don't really need, but it's a nice test. And I think what I'm not doing correct is I did added the G label to the draw canvas, and then at some point with ChatGPT also I wasn't putting this add mouse listener and add mouse motion listener. The mouse listener is for clicks and drags and stuff, I think, and the motion listener is for the movement and maybe other things, a mouse scroll, whatever. Maybe it said probably said something about that, but I need also to add it to the J label, and then I have this update label thingy, which is specifically for that label. So I was thinking it seems overkill, but it might be most efficiently, most clear to give the J label its own little class. It's exactly the same as draw canvas, which just extends a standard G panel. Then I make a J label, which my own J label, which extends G label, and do it like that, and then it has this update label method in there, and all those elements, all those components, it's called, they need their own mouse listener anyway. Brings me to another thing. I was thinking that it might not be logical. I have the draw canvas and the render board. The render board doesn't do anything specifically, it just is a method. It just is a class that has access to the board and the game shape, and draw canvas has access to the render board. So it's just passing on stuff, which might be great to keep it readable. But then again, in draw canvas, I was playing around with that is highlighted, and again, it's kind of a brain fuck for me. But because I didn't find it logical to have a mouse listener in the render board like I have now. But what render implies is that it is where it's drawn, and here I only have a method now that makes a nice collection of what I want to draw. And if my code was like 1,000 lines long, that might be interesting. But would be more logical maybe to merge that simply with the draw canvas and then not have, like before, I think at a certain point I realized a long time ago already that in the paint component or somewhere where I was doing all kinds of, what is it called? Operations within something in one of those render structures from Java, which made it so that every, for instance, that, what was it? What was I doing? That it was redrawing the board because every change normally, I think it's included, inherent to Java. Every change you make to the draw the paint component, I think here makes it redraw the entire thing. But no, like I said, I think I had a thing that wasn't. I did something a way that wasn't efficient. I let it redraw too much. But as long as I don't have all all kinds of logic that don't need to be there in the paint component, but like I did in the render board already, I have one method that tells it what to draw, and like I do here, I say draw the tiles. I do that method once, and then it will redraw it when that method changes when its state changes, as far as I know. So yeah, I don't see the point, the problem, and it is more logical with my findTileAtPoint stuff, which does take a mouse input. And I was like, no, that's not logical in my render class. But what is my render class? What does it render when it's just a collection of me telling it what to render and then passing that on as a method? On top of that, like I said, this has access to the board and to the game shape to be able to know what to draw and where to draw it, basically. And yeah, so when I have a draw canvas that has access to all that stuff, it's more concentrated. And yeah, I think that would be logical. And on top of that, something else really, I felt kind of stupid again. I was doing all this to try and get the highlight tile to function again. And I was using a Boolean on the tile object. And I realized that in my board, I only have access now to these 8 different tiles. So even if I were able to set the Boolean of is highlighted to true on the tiles, that would mean, where was it? That would mean that I set all tiles of that type to highlighted. And I was, no, that's not possible. Yeah, that would be the way. Or else I need to, again, because I also took out the W and H parameters from the tiles. They now, if I need them, I will need them at some point. I will need to get them from the git hexagon, and I could probably create something that passes them the back in with this whole for loop. But at the meantime, I could just probably, like I think I could just get them from the git hexagon, pass them to those when they're created. No, when I need to retrieve them, because they're inherently related to the grid hexagon, which contains those objects. So I could retrieve the WH arguments from the containing grid hexagon object instead of assigning them. I already have a getters for those, instead of assigning them also to the culture corridor. And when I want to reassign the W and H, I cannot do this generate them once thingy, because I would have to return to the terrain, separated terrain from the tile. So, and this might, in the end, and I was really thinking about it, and this might turn out to be too much condensing what I did here for other things later, for the units on there, for the neighbor thingies. Like I said, that I need to retrieve the WH from its containing object, the grid hexagon, etc. So this might, in the end, it might not work at all, and I might need to take out the merge that I did from the culture corridor tile and the terrain. We'll see. But then again, so I was thinking I cannot set a Boolean to the tile because I only use 8 tiles now, and they are redistributed. So I was thinking I'm doing all this stuff for that's just ridiculous. It doesn't need to know if it's highlighted. Highlighted is just that's just a visual thing. It doesn't have any other value. And because I already thought, oh, but I could do the find tile best in this render stuffy, the only thing that means is that I want to highlight them when the mouse is over, and later I want to retrieve. Because and also the tiles don't have knowledge of their shape. I tell them what shape is what here in the render board manually. I just tell them when it's culture tile blah, then that's that shape. And the only thing I want to do is highlight that shape. But my tile doesn't even have access to that shape anymore. So I need to do all kinds of complicated things to find the specific tile type, etc. And then find tell it what shape should be related to that, etc. And that's all totally BS. I have the shape here in the render thingy, and if I merge it with draw canvas on top of that, I have the MouseListener there as well. And I just need to tell it, because this is already iterating through the board, this whole what to draw. And I can just tell it what I was trying to do before. I was trying to merge the find tile in the what to do thing, but it didn't work because I don't even remember. There was a reason that didn't work. Maybe that was because I needed to find the shape or something. Maybe that was the reason. I don't have access to the tile. I don't remember why it didn't work. But yeah, I didn't need a Boolean at all. I just needed to tell when this shape at this place contains the mouse point, then highlight it here. So I don't even have to check for if highlighted. I just have to say here that if this game shape blah 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 contains point, then highlight. That's all. That's all I need to do. Because yeah, the rest of my model, let's say if I talk model view controller, it doesn't need to know that it's highlighted. That's just extra. What I then do need is that I can return from that shape the specific grid hexagon which that corresponds to, and with the W and H, etc., and then that I can retrieve all its parameters, which should be easy because I already check if that I already retrieve the corridor tiles, because like I have the general things like for the outline. I'm drawing the outline. Where is it? Here is the draw outline. Basic stroke. That also I get. Oh no, I set that here. Let me see. What did I leave? I have some things, some graphical things maybe still left on the tile. Oh, wrong. Is highlighted can go. I load the texture. I think that is especially why I only have the 8 tiles, to only load the texture ones. No, the rest. Okay, yeah. Even the border width for drawing, I took that out. Where is it? Why don't I see it? Oh, is that a method? Oh yeah. Oh, that's this method down here. That's the border width is for the basic stroke. So I already defined that here. So like I said, I just tell it manual what to do with what in what situation, instead of having all that info on the tiles. So let me first start with doing that before starting to try and fix the panel, because this should be very straightforward the way I see it now. Okay, and then I want to merge the two, but that's just easy. Oh yeah, and I'm just rambling on. I like sharing all the things I thought about, but in Nystrom's book, in his example, what was it? It was in the decoupling. That was in component chapter, he has his example of an actor, Bjorn, because he doesn't want to plagiarize Mario, and it calls methods for the input, the controller. That would be, in my case, would be the mouse. He's talking about what is it called these days? The controller. And it has some physics component, which is the physical engine related to the world, and graphics component. But the actor itself calls updates for that, and it passes the object of the actor to the input. Like that, mine would be the MouseListener. So that listens to the object then, and then in the class it runs the method input update, and then over itself, and then graphics gets also an instance of the actor class and the world. I don't have actors yet, I only have world, but I could translate this to my world for now. When I have units, it might look more like this, but probably not. And then the graphics gets an object of the actor and of graphics, and it has fields of those, has instances of those objects in its own class. So what I'm doing now of creating the whole board thingy and then passing it to the render and then passing it to the screen, I think, if I understand it correctly, he keeps, well, maybe the comparison is wrong because his actor is not the world, but it is the actor class that updates, that sets those methods to update when something changes. Maybe for me that's not yet applicable because I'm just trying to render the board as is, and I don't try to accept the highlight, which now turns out not to be. I saw in a model view controller you can have an input and just have a response directly on the screen without it touching the model, and that would be the highlight. It doesn't change anything anywhere. Even when I return a certain tile, etc., it doesn't change anything directly to the model yet. It just retrieves some info. So I don't have the coupling yet that I do an input which changes something in the world, in the model. So maybe that's why I don't need it yet, because later I need the input to change something on the board, and then it needs to update the rendering. So now I'm just passing everything on, but I'm not passing it back to the model, like, let's say. So, but we'll see that later. That's I'm going off in tangents here. So let me see. What if I just do game shape contains point? Do I need? No, I don't need that. Copy that. Which will be the condition instead of highlighted, like so. Contains cursor point, which means that my draw tiles needs. Okay, then I need to give my draw tiles the mouse, the point cursor point thingy. Oh, by the way, I destroyed the point. Oh no, point cursor point. I just took out point, whatever it was, which I don't think I want. That's not a good idea. I will just keep it a separate method, and then maybe one for highlight point and then one for findTileAtPoint. But because findTileAtPoint must return either tile object, I'm not sure if that can be a void or that it should return something. The findTileAtPoint miggly jiggly. Okay, I have all this board, this null stuff in here. That was a check. That was a suggestion from ChatGPT. Still not sure if I named the game shape transform as well here. Don't have it very clear in my head yet. So if Get culture tile not is null. I keep the if board is null. Get culture tile blah 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 blah. So no, this whole stuff can go away. If game shape contains point, cursors point specifically, and then I want the highlight code. Just this. Just this. I just wanted to do that. That's all. Why did I miss the G? And it does need graphics. Also, an indication for me that this should be maybe in the draw joined with the draw canvas, because it has this graphics 2D. It makes reference at that, and that's really for drawing stuff, and that's what I use here on the paint component specifically. So yeah, I repeat myself, but it might be interesting to separate them when it gets too huge, etc. But so I don't want to give it access to that. And this is going away. And then I do the same for this can go away. And then this whole can go away. I only keep game shape. And I fill it. That's all I need now. I don't need to check for booleans, all this kind of stuff. It might even work right away now, not sure. No, I have another problem. I created another problem. Cursor point cannot be solved with variable. On the board 55. That's I need to take this out. I renamed this, and this is just not set high. Is this called set? This is just highlight tile. No, highlights the tile. Yeah, probably obvious. I need to take this out because it bugs. Can't see that cursor point, of course. And here as well. Get that out, like so. See if nothing is broken, and I have to switch it on. Then I have to call that method. That still works. Then I have to call that method in draw canvas. It was called render board blah de blah. That is now called highlight tile. Did I name that correctly here? Highlight tile. No. Oh yeah, I did highlights without a capital L, like this. And then, oh wait, mouse handler, get cursor point. Give me some errors. Graphics today, 2D. Just missing G2 in here. More errors. Not that easy. Contains unknown source. Add, throws it at 1.4. My system output stuff. I might be wrong, but I'm seeing to have an error here. Area contains blah blah blah. I'm returning an area for the corridor shape and not a shape like all the other ones. So I might have a little trouble there. I'm trying to find out if that is the problem. No, that's not true because it's a subclass from shape. That cannot be the problem. It throws an exception every time in line 104 where I get the culture shape. Let's comment out that little block and see what it does. Then does it throw a render? What? Okay, now then it throws it on that one as well. Oh, and now it says something about the rectangular shape contains. Oh, is it because it now, when I don't move my mouse at all? Let's ask. So I posted the whole bubs to JPT as usual, but I might want to do debug mode on it. Let's see what JPT has to say. Okay, JPT just tells me that that it's null. Go away, debug mode. How do I switch back to normal view again? I just want to get out of debug mode. Hardly know how this whole program works. I don't know it at all. I never use anything in those menus. Hardly. Can I just, I did it before, and I just close debug. It doesn't return to its normal Open perspective Java. That's just it. Right. So just ChatGPT says with what it gets from the error message that this just returns null. Game shape, culture shape. But then why does my print message don't work? Get culture tile. Why do I want culture? Why do I want to get culture tile? Oh, I want to check if it not is null. No, I cannot. Of course, I cannot check. I cannot check that in the board array. That the shapes aren't in the board array. So how the F can I check? I cannot check anything for the shapes in there. Oh wait, I'm totally. They're not putting in. I'm just drawing them, not putting anything in the array. So of course there's null. So where do they live? That's on the draw canvas. If in fact they live there. They're just on the screen. And I draw those shapes. I just have to tell it to when. Oh, okay. I just need to have access to those shapes. I just haven't. Did it draw anything? No. Let's take that out. My highlight stuff. Then it should work again. Right. So I just have a screen where objects are drawn, and the whole contains thingy can find them back. My program knows now that I move my mouse here that it is within that shape. But the only representation of that shape now is on this canvas. So it's even more simple. I just have to tell it, and I could do it in the paint component, what I explicitly don't want to do. Where's my render board? I need a method that just tells it if a shape. I decide which shapes are on the board. So the shapes that I don't draw cannot contain anything. So get this whole stuff out. I don't even want to keep all that stuff for what I had for finding a tile. It's now more confusing than anything else. Like so. And then, yeah, and it's even more reason to put it in draw canvas, this whole stuff, or only this method. But then I need a shape, and this first time it breaks, second time it works. I still don't know why that is. This shape is shape probably. Maybe put an is in there. Does that work in a method as well? I guess. No, it doesn't. Do I want game shape? Do I want a game shape? I already have a game shape here. Oh yeah, I tell it game shape. Yeah, I have instances of game shape here. Let me try. Maybe that's, yes, wait, for every iteration here it draws something, which then doesn't need to renew the board, but then I tell it that in any of those game shapes, the mouse is, this game shape is shape, no, game shape, or maybe I don't even need it because it's there. Let me try. If game shape, oh wait, I threw everything away, but then I go back a bit. And my example, make that kaput, put it down, public, because it's a void, highlight tile, probably also needs the graphics thing, instance, just to have my example of how to write stuff. If game shape not is no, one is. Why do I do the wrong thing all the time? Not is no. Do this. Except not even that, but game shape. Fill. Why doesn't he? Okay, that cannot be done on a game shape object, of course. So let me just do what I did before. Made done locally. Shape. Oh no, I don't need all that stuff. If game shape not is no, fill game shape and culture shape, that's a shape. So it should be able to fill that. And then also, no, not fill the, if game shape not is null n, I want to say, but if it equals culture shape. Okay, and of course, I need the contains point. Yes, no, I could reduce this to 1 if I just have a uniform shape. Can that work? If game shape is culture shape, because I was saying if a shape, otherwise I could just say if shape contains point, highlight, if culture shape contains point or corridor shape contains point, highlight shape. Yeah, no, that will be, it might also do the null thingy in there, by the way. Did I throw it all out? No, I have it here. Copy. That's the next one. If game shape is culture shape. No, I can do that right away. If game shape culture shape contains point. I don't care if it is that, just if it contains point. What? Oh, that's my cursor. Contains cursor point, v, like so. And just to be sure that it doesn't break, is null n. If game shape culture shape not is null, forget this null. And it contains blah de blah, highlight, fill, culture shape. Shouldn't that be enough? I don't have to do the whole. Yeah, I'm so I'm trying to look it up in the board. There is no in the board. I hope that is the problem. I decoupled stuff so much that I'm I'm totally lost. If not is null contains. Oh, so I could have just kept what I had, but take out the loop. Well, I just had to write it again, I guess, to see that. Hope this was it, of course. So highlight tile, point, cursor point, blah blah blah. Let's run it without calling the method in draw first. It works. I didn't make new errors. See if it works now. No, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, this is driving me crazy. This is definitely not how it works. This is not how it works. There's something definitely going wrong between drawing it and then seeing if the mouse is in there. That just doesn't work like this. And probably because I have to check that on the canvas. There is the MouseListener on there. Rectangular. Why is it talking about a rectangular shape? Oh, okay. I'm making reference to the game shape. It's of course going to the instance of game shape, which of course has nothing to do with my draw canvas. So of course there's nothing there. I don't need to check on the game shape. I simply need to check this on the draw canvas. I'm checking on the instance of game shape, which I instantiate in this loop. So it has values only in this loop. So that would mean that I do need it in here. Draw outline. I do need it. Either I do need it in here, or I need a way to retrieve what's on the canvas. But this is what is on the canvas. Oh, this is really messing with my brain. My God, I thought like easy little thingy. But yeah, this is a conceptual stuff. This is okay. Well, I wanted to separate it for that for the mouse point. That's why I wanted to separate it. Well, I'm gonna try to put it back in here with my newfound ID that I don't have to check for the object at all. So I am already checking, yeah, whether the object is null. Don't have to check that again, but still don't care. So I do want to give this point cursor point. Why are you complaining? Let's try it like this then. Switch off the method, the separate method here. Draw tile gets a point, cursor. Why? Okay, MouseHandler get cursor point. See what it does now. Breaks as well. Okay, I'm gonna fiddle with this and stop recording all this stuff. So at the end of my rope, I tried to explain my problem again to ChatGPT, which gives a pretty useful answer this time, I guess. But it also tells me that it's common just exactly to have a collection of those shapes, which, yeah, I was pretty proud of that. Now I don't even store the shapes in the array anymore because they're just very repetitive. And yeah, why do I need the shape for the rest? Except to tell it to draw the shape. But yeah, like it said, it has no memory of what is drawn where. So this will probably then become a problem when I want to retrieve information about the tile through the shape, because for the moment I don't see another way to select those tile objects via a mouse except through their shape, through the shape functionality that can do the contains point thingy. So yeah, so yeah, there's probably other solutions for that, but effectively, and now I completely decoupled the shapes from the tiles, and like I said, I put them together in the render board, but that's not the class where I want to store that from there into the board. That's just ridiculous. And it's yeah, like super easy to re-add. I already forgot why I was so pleased with myself that I didn't have the shapes in there anymore. I kind of forgot, maybe because I was fighting to draw them or something. I don't even remember. That was maybe just the decoupling thing. But so this might be continue to be a problem. Oh yeah, of course that was what it was, because the corridor and the culture tile both have a different shape. So because I joined them in one, they would have something different. Oh, but I can just in the arguments give them a shape as well. I just give where's my tile. I can just give them a like tile shape, tile shape, tile shape. Give them the tile shape. How can I express that in how can I express that in a word or one? Then I just need these are the strings. These are ints. Then I need to have the oh no, that will be a game shape, of course. Game shape, tile shape. But how do I, because there's those I only have them in methods. Then I think I need to make a variable here. Game shape. Yeah, I need two fields here, two fields of game shape, the same as here. It might be quite funny to do that instead of adding them, separating them again. And yeah, then I just have to tell here in board, or I can even do that in tile. Interesting. Yeah, I can, and then I can have just I can tell it when it says what am I saying? Tile shape. So that would be the same. That would be culture shape, corridor shape simply. And then I just say if I do need a get tile shape, that would be an if statement. That's all. And then I have re-added the shapes to there, and the if statement just calls the method on shape. Then again, then they need to have access to the shape to those shapes again. Oh yeah, then I'm giving an instant of game shape here, of course. Yeah, okay. Let's write it down before I forget. Give an argument, parameter it is, I think. Tile shape method. Then I will have a tile shape here. If tile shape is culture shape, then board, oh, then game shape, culture shape, etc. Right, great. But let's get back to do that later. I feel like I need it. So ChatGPT gave me something that might work. That always to be seen. But that was like I was trying right inside the draw tile thingy. And let me see if it gets anything new. Still fighting with trying to get ChatGPT to set something useful because I don't understand at all what I'm doing. I get he posted a nice, he posted a new draw tile method, which turns out to be the same. So I asked, what's the difference, blah, blah, blah. Then it says something about maybe the order of drawing, filling and drawing, but it's not a problem, I know, because it worked before with the same values. So it does again say something about the mouse listener, and already said it, so I tried to do a repaint here. And I think I'm just stuck in that mouse input thing. I think I'm really not getting it, just not getting it at all. Yeah, then goes on about no pointer exception, yeah, objects not being initialized. But I have all this, if not this null checks everywhere. There's something else that's going totally wrong. I think, yeah, lastly, it's important, also important to make sure that the mouse handler get cursor point is not returning null. What if I n cursor point not is null? Let's add a check for that. I think that is the problem. Actually, there's something going wrong. I'm so messing with those. Like I said, I had old stuff and I have no idea what's working or not, and the code that I still have might just make a mess out of things. Right? Oh fucking hell. I've fought so much. It's just that the mouse is returning the cursor point is null. So ensure that you're initializing the point object representing the cursor point in a method handling mouse movement. You should update this point to reflect the latest. Okay, I admit so frustrating. I don't know what it is all doing. Yesterday evening I cleaned up my whole mouse class. Yeah, there's still this decked out shit, but I cleaned up the whole thing with its help because, like I said, I don't have an idea what all that stuff does. I know that this works. At least the print out the get x, the get y works, but somewhere, someplace, or it's just that in the new, like in the other places where I add the mouse input listener, that I'm doing it wrong there, that I'm overwriting values and stuff. But yeah, maybe that one as well. Maybe I should. I thought I don't need just one instance of mouse input handler. I thought I can just do things with that. And I set this click point, cursor point to private. I have to use the getters for them already, so that should be okay. But maybe I do initialize multiple instances of the mouse stuff. I initialize one in the draw canvas, and I do a new one here in the user interface? No, I did, but I switched that off. So as far as I know, I'm just using one instance. And yeah, now you can ask 100 times. Last evening also I asked ChatGPT, but it must be very obvious problem what's going on, but it's incapable of telling me what's going on. So that's pretty much starting to piss me off. And I myself am just too. It's such a mess before my eyes what all this stuff is doing. Yes, of course it's my own fault, but they're like starting to really get on my nerves. uh, yeah, it should look something like this. Your mouse input handler class. Yeah, it just starts to give me class. Here's my current mouse input handler class. Oh, now it has everything that I'm working on, all the context. So now it should be able to help me. Otherwise, it's just stupid. And I answer my question: can ChatGPT help finish my game? No, just makes it hard. No, it's not true. It helped me a lot, but it seems to be fine. Don't tell me that. God damn it. Copy. I already found out that the cursor point was returning 0 because it started talking about other stuff. But I told him, yeah, with the null check in here, it works. So it's definitely the cursor point that returns 0. So now it has all my context, so it should be able to tell me what's wrong. Otherwise, it's stupid. 2 reasons. The mouse hasn't moved. Shut up. The handle mouse event method isn't being called for some reason. This could be due to an issue with how the mouse events are being hooked up to the JPanel. Yes, I'm sure that is the effing problem. Mr. Obvious, you didn't move the mouse. But how it sounds like a help desk. Did you unplug it, the appliance? Did you reboot the appliance? Yeah, no, that's definitely working. There's no problem. I'm definitely doing something wrong with the JPanel, or even no, the MouseListener I wanted to say on the user interface, but I don't even have the MouseListener right now, and it's just working on there, so that's no problem. Maybe I'm doing stuff in the wrong order because it works when I move it. This is getting on my nerves as well. Mouse event E. It's just confusing me, to be honest. Stupid thing, but like I do that everywhere else. I type out the word. This is supposed to be pay, is supposed to be point, not pay. I find that too confusing. My small brain, mouse event doesn't like this kind of things. Like this is a bit like it has some kind of other signification, like just not just a mouse event called event or point. That's on my nerves. Gets on my nerves pretty hard. So the draw canvas. Oh, it might not go to the draw canvas object. Ah, it starts to make sense again, but it doesn't solve my problem. Oh my god. Okay, that's. It says if you're seeing that message, effectively the mouse at position, that means that in the mouse again is being called, and the cursor point is being updated correctly. However, if the cursor point is still null in the drawTiles method, it means that the mouse input handler instance in your drawCanvas class and the mouse input handler instance that is handling the mouse events aren't the same instance. One possible reason could be due to how the drawCanvas class and the mouse input handler class are being initialized and used in the rest of your code. If they aren't correctly hooked up, yeah, that's what I'm stuck with how to think that might just initialize the draw canvas with mouse input handler and just be blunt about it. Just create one here and pass it around. But I understood that you don't necessarily need to do that with for some reason. To debug this, you could check if the mouse input handler is in your draw canvas. The hash code. Use by printing out the hash codes. How do I do that? Check if there are multiple instances of draw canvas or mouse input handler being created in your code. Oh, what if this draw canvas is draw canvas? That one is initialized in main. Draw canvas is new draw canvas with an instance of render board. That's okay. And then I interface new use phase draw canvas. So I pass, wait, I'm not in the right class. I pass draw canvas to the user interface. And then I said this draw canvas. Oh my god, no. Yeah, no. No, I created a scroll pane that uses this instance of draw canvas. I don't, here I initialize the mouse input handler, by the way. New JLabel, add render board. Super. No, I don't have other mouse input handlers anymore. Don't instantiate them here. I use that draw canvas instance to do that normally. Check by how you're passing the mouse input handler instance to the draw canvas class. It should be passed by reference, not by value. Make sure you're not creating a new mouse input handler instance somewhere else in your code after the draw canvas instance has been created. Oh, yeah, of course, because I instantiate, of course I do, because I instantiate the draw canvas in main and then in draw canvas, I instantiate a new mouse input handler. Let's ask if it's normal or okay to have one. If it's normal to have one mouse input handler instance or multiple. Yeah, so I understood it wrong, all that stuff. And then apparently before I should create class code right now instance of draw. So we ask if I should instantiate the mouse input handler before the canvas, because now I instantiate the mouse input handler in my draw canvas while the draw canvas is instantiated in main. So that's now it doesn't matter. Now it says it doesn't matter. Oh, maybe that's just telling because I instantiate it in the draw canvas method, and that instantiate the mouse input handler, that I don't instantiate another mouse input handler after that. But anyway, so that will mouse that closes the deal. Mouse input handler, mouse. What did I call it? Just mouse handler because the name is too long. Handler. And then the draw canvas mouse handler. Why doesn't it want mouse handler? Oh, it's not used. That's cool. And I want it to draw canvas to have mouse handler. Maybe with an E. Why is it not happy? Oh, because I don't have it here. I can just copy paste this whole stuff in here. Up like so. You go away. So I'm just going to pass that around like so to start with, because it's getting really on my nerves, all this stuff. Let's run it to see if anything has changed. Now it even breaks completely. 28 is broken. Why is it suddenly broken? Because I didn't write event in this little thing. We have other problems. Draw canvas 59, render board. Now it gives a null pointer exception right off the bat, probably meaning that stuff is wrong on the draw canvas somewhere. Draw canvas, I'm going to add a mouse handler here, private. Oh, no, wait. I'm stupid. Wait a minute. I remember that I forget a thingy here. This and mouse handler is mouse handler, because now I'm not passing anything. Right, I forgot that. See what it does now. Because yeah, mouse handler is null then. Okay, that works. Works the same. Seems to update even faster, by the way. Wow, it updates like crazy now, by the way. This add label, that's other stuff. Go away. Is it maybe the label that's messing things up? Okay, now I do get all kinds of null pointer exceptions. I think this guilty point equals null new point, maybe that would be a problem. Mouse input handler 24. I think I might have found a problem. I was adding scroll pane, new scroll pane draw canvas, but I didn't add anything of mouse listeners to the scroll pane, of course. So seeing that the scroll pane isn't doing anything at the moment, window add draw canvas, just that. Oh yeah, and I changed the draw canvas to test it to extend scroll pane, JPanel or panel, right? So now remove and use, fix all the problems. So because it said that it needs all kinds of listeners to all kinds of components. Now it doesn't highlight, but it doesn't error as neither. I'm wondering if I need to copy the point here in. It somehow still is null, but now I don't. It does update update like a maniac, by the way. First, it didn't do it so often. Oh, check if the instance of mouse input handler you're using in render board. Damn, I forgot about that one when I was doing it. Point, cursor point. Wait a minute. I pass the point to this now. No, mouse handler, get cursor point. Oh my god, I got it to work finally. With finally it gave me a nice tip, ChatGPT. It said so we went back and forth, and what can be the problem? The cursor point was 0, all kinds of shit. Then it gave me a hint to find out if it is if there was a problem with the order of events. You have to think about it. I have no idea. I didn't think shit would be that complicated yet. It said it might be the problem that you experience might be due to timing or synchronization issues, and that the AWT event dispatch thread, which handles repainting the component and processing mouse events, might not have finished processing the mouse events and thus updating cursor point before draw tiles is called. Blah blah blah. It gives me a little thingy here to add to the paint component, and just add a little cursor point here, and then which takes the value of the cat cursor of the cursor point in the mouse input handler, and then print a little text, a cursor point before drawing tiles, and then do the draw tiles, because it was like it could be that it was not like it said if that returns null, and I can still show it on here because I didn't move my mouse yet. Cursor point before calling draw tiles null twice, it prints it. Now after it says it gives me the coordinates, and it is the thing that it already worked. But it was a problem with the queue of whatever, the timing or synchronization issue. You could try using string utilities invoke later to schedule the repainting of the canvas. This would ensure that any pending mouse events are processed before the canvas is repainted. So it was repainting every time, and maybe because also of the other method there, that was calling mouse event at position this and that. Maybe that. Okay, yeah, maybe that was it, because in the MouseHandler, no, that was at the end. Well, I'm not sure, but anyway, it was. Where was I? It was just infinitely repainting the board, and apparently, like I understand it, didn't have time to receive the other mouse input. So I tried that, and then effectively it said, like I post here, it said, yeah, it does null, and then it did the other thingy that it still does. It gave the mouse event at position. But that works also, that whole mouse event at position thingy also works when there's nothing drawn on the screen. That just gives the position in the window. And the other one probably as well, but that one needed the cursor point to return from because I'm using it in the draw tile method that comes from the render board, which needs that cursor point. It was drawing all the time before getting the new cursor point, like I understand it correctly, because it has to pass the cursor point to that draw tiles method. But I think like it didn't have time to get the cursor point because it was redrawing in this paint component thingy, redrawing the thing caused by any mouse movement, etc. Because normally that is what Java draw canvas, what is it called, the paint component does, as far as I know. Anything that changes on the screen, it repaints automatically. And you can, of course, like ChatGPT is telling me thinks about it, you can, of course, tell it to only repaint in certain situations, certain updates on the screen, etc. It's a bit weird that every time you move your mouse, it wants to redraw the whole canvas. I mean, your canvas doesn't need to do that. It can just be in Windows. So when for performance issue, for performance reasons, normally we don't do that, of course. But like my stuff is still very simple. I might want to might want to do that. For instance, when all the coordinate, this coordinate stuff is out, I want to make a redraw whenever the mouse changes to another tile, for example, and not redraw in between. And anything that happens on the screen and not just the mouse, like evidently. So okay, so it's happy. As far as we can say, it's happy. And then it gives me the repaint, and I had to put that wherever I call the repaint. Now I just had one repaint left in the constructor of draw canvas. As canvas has nothing to do there. It was just an error. I had some repaint somewhere because all these. Remember, the draw canvas was together with the user interface and the mouse input. It was all one big mess, and I had no idea what was going on in there. So it tells me to do a swing utilities invoke later thing, new runnable, that makes it sure that it makes sure that the repaint is done as after all the mouse what is it? Yeah, is if all the previous GUI he says events have been processed. This will ensure that any pending mouse events are processed before the canvas is repainted. So yeah, so that it doesn't start to repaint. And yeah, it's apparently a sort of, I don't know what the word for that is, like an overload of stuff. This is almost always what you want when updating the view from a different thread. However, blah blah blah. You can use invoke and wait. Okay, but then yeah, I understand that my repaint here is useless and that I don't even know where to put his repaint and invoke later thingy. So apparently I should do that in the mouse input handler. And then he talks about where I handle the mouse events. But whenever you want to paint component method to be executed again. So normally this is relegated to the paint component, but it says for my use case, the same you want to call repaint blah 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 every time the mouse mover is clicked, because you want the screen to update with the new mouse position. Because I have those coordinates, very simple thingies. But if I take all that out and I only want to highlight the tile, a shape, then probably should do that. Well, and then it doesn't work, but then you have to call that repaint on the canvas. So I try to put it in, it doesn't work because it's a method for blah blah blah. So then it again tells me to give an instance of the draw canvas to MouseInputHandler class, which before was breaking my brain, and then how to make it work. And I did do that now, and I stopped in main. I was creating an instance of draw canvas and passing that to somewhere. Yeah, that I'm still doing, but I was, oh yeah, in the meantime I created the mouse input handler there, but that needed to take an instance of draw canvas, and draw canvas needed an instance of mouse input handler, so there was like a loop going on. But then again, it explained me quite patiently, as always, that I need in draw canvas, I need in draw canvas, I had trouble wrapping my head around. I was thinking about it last night or so, but so I instantiate the new mouse handler here which takes now an instance of draw canvas, and so I instantiate with a dis. I hardly ever used that yet, or not at all, not of my free will at least. And so the mouse input handler gets the instance of draw canvas, and then I can do operations on there. So yeah, before, like I said, it was all mushed together, so that wasn't that hard. But so I normally do. So it does have right now. It does have the right instance of draw canvas, because that is what is instantiated in main here. I do pass it to user interface, but yeah, I can also instantiate that in user interface the way I do it for mouse input handler now. That might be more logical than instantiate that in main, and then pass the wait a minute. Yeah, in user interface takes draw canvas, so I could instantiate the same way. Am I saying that right? No, it's the other way around. No, that's the other way around. Yeah, that's the normal way. For me, normal way. The building block way. This takes draw canvas. That would mean that draw canvas has an instance of user interface. No, that's not logical. So, but this is for me. This is hard to wrap my brain around. It for me, it's kind of inversing the order of you instantiate a new class with the instance of the class where it is in. If you know what I mean. When this draw canvas is constructed, because it's the constructor, it constructs an instance of the mouse input handler with the instance that being constructed. So that's kind of, for my brain, that's kind of loopy. But that is something with this mouse input handler that seems to be actually pretty necessary. That means that I don't, also for me, that means that I can't instantiate it somewhere else without the draw canvas. But normally, like I said, I now understand that I need one instance of it, and it's over there. Yeah, and what, like I said, I couldn't do it in main, because then I had to, I couldn't instantly, I had to, it was a circular thing. I couldn't instantiate user interface and then the other, etc. So this is a way to solve that, actually. So it works. Now finally, also the highlight, the super simple highlight function that I have, it's spamming my console with all the coordinates. So, but I only had the culture shape done. What is more efficient? I think this one. So I put it after get image. Yeah, the order is not so important, but I want to highlight everything after that. The color is transparent, so you can see anything below it anyway. Just makes it a little lighter. And then it's not corridor shape is null, it's just if game shape is null. Okay, I added and cursor point is null to be sure, because that's how I finally found out that that was breaking everything. Game shape, corridor shape contains cursor point, set color, game shape, purple. Tally that, poof. So now they also highlight the corridor. When I go outside, it doesn't break. Like this. Oh my god. So this was a big fight with the Java Swing component stuff, mouse listeners, all that misery. I still think that I'm gonna, but the satisfaction satisfaction is all the greater. All right, look at it. And I still think I'm gonna merge the render class with the draw canvas again. I think it's more logical, and with all this stuff, pop, which means that draw canvas gets no, it doesn't get two more things. It just gets access to board and game shape, and it has the MouseListener on it. So that's quite will be quite a class with quite some things. I don't know if that respects the principle of doing one thing with one class, but probably not. But I feel it works like that. But yeah, not sure. So by the way, I can throw this all out. Let's get that away. For my select tile thing, like I said, I need to probably get the units to. I probably need to get the. Yeah, I think I need to link the shapes to a tile again. I'm not sure that I can access the grid position just by this when I don't have the tile. when I don't have the tile in the grid array. The tile shape, I mean. Like ChatGPT told me, it doesn't remember where the thing is. It doesn't. I don't assign any grid coordinates. It's just a visual transformation now. I don't have any reference. It doesn't know where it is, or like I could draw the grid hexagon, then it would know the W and H because those are stored on the board, but the other shapes aren't stored at all now. So where's my grid hexagon? Did I still leave the shape in there? No, I threw that out as well. So okay, let's see that in a bit.